Welcome to Week 9 podcast. All right. Welcome, everybody. I'm in a good mood today, Rob, because my 3-game losing streak is finally over. So,
Hey.
yeah. Let's talk about playoffs. No, hey, Rob. Let's take a look at the standings here. Let's go to Conference 1 Earth. Gangrene 6-3, New Denver 6-3, right behind you there. Savs 3-6, and Bruin Maniacs 3-6.
29 points separating Gangrene and New Denver. Kind of stole one on. Well, I didn't steal one. I blew it up, but I think the bag of the back kind of did me a favor and pulled out that low-scoring game. So I get to be in first place for a week. Hooray!
Yeah. And let's take a look at the win division. El Oso Verde 8-1, Wolfpack 4-5, the Heart Foundation 3-6, and Kells 2-7. Not much happening over there on that side, huh, Rob? El Oso Verde.
Well, Wolfpack's kind of hanging around, making it interesting. The Wolf. He's got a shot at the wild card there. He's going to need some love there, but it's El Oso Verde at this point. It's a one. I mean, magic number's one. It's over, right? So it's there you go.
Yeah,
done before we even get to double digits. That quick.
Let's go to Conference 2 real quick. TB12 the Great 7-2, the Bagger of the Bat 6-3, High Rollers 5-4, Ninja Assassin 4-5. Tay's on a hot streak now. 4 wins in a row. Good for him.
Define hot streak. He won with 98 points this week, so that's not hot.
Hey, we're gonna talk about that
it's
here.
A win, though.
We're gonna talk about
a win.
Yeah. Let's look at the water division here. Degenerate Bastard 7-2, lost this week. Straight LA 3-6. So that's 2 in a row for him. Sego 3-6, and then Autumn Wind 2-7.
Yes, straight LA, man. He's still challenging for that. I mean, he's challenging for that damn overall, man. He's only 38 points out of that, so it's it's just unbelievable bad luck. We talk about it every week, but it's he's definitely challenging for that. So maybe we'll add like a little award next year for the team that has the most points scored against them. It'd be a total random whatever, right? So we probably won't do it, but we'll see what we got.
Well, let's just jump right into it. Let's go to our first matchup: Bruin Maniacs versus TB12 the Great. Not too high scoring, but 116 to 129.
It's a good game. I mean, Bernie kind of looked like he slept in a little bit on the Sunday game, caused me some excitement over there fixing up his roster, but we got it all straightened out. And that, it turns out we had a little system hiccup there, which they periodically will do, but we fixed that. Everything's fine. So, he just, Jacoby Brissett going out in the first, 5 minutes didn't do him any favors there. So, we got through that, and Adam Thielen didn't play, and it just wasn't his day, right? TB12 the Great. I sat right across from him. He's loving Christian McCaffrey, 54 points, right?
Yeah, and besides that, hey, Sammy Watkins 18. Wow, he did something. Oh no, that's 6. I'm looking at George Kittle. I'm about to say
6. Yeah. No, he's in love with Sammy Watkins, man. I mean, this week it actually played pretty good for him off Julian Edelman there, but he's propped up on Christian McCaffrey. He's been, that's why you draft him right there, right? He's been propped up by him a little bit this year in general. So it's, but Christian McCaffrey. We never have talked about. I will say probably MVP of this league, right? He's doing it kind of quietly too. Is what's strange,
and especially with Cam being on IR.
I mean, but they've done just fine without that. So I mean, Cam, I like Cam. He's a good player and everything, and it's just maybe he gets healthy, and it sounds like he's going to another team, but
probably
a broken down Cam Newton's not the right thing for the Panthers. So good for them. Caffrey's a stud. This game was kind of dull, Sam.
Yep.
Let's move on to the next one.
Let's move on. The Bagger the Bat versus New Denver. Like you were saying, 98 points to 96 points gets us under 100. We don't need to talk about it. But, Kirk Cousins, Lamar Jackson did well.
Yeah, no, I mean the back of the bat. I mean it's a terrible performance. Obviously, he gets 67 of his 98 points out of his two quarterbacks. I mean the only thing interesting in this entire game is New Denver had a terrible performance of his own. And I mean,
Mm-hmm.
but when you're drafting Saquon Barkley number one, he's playing on Monday Night Football. I mean, you're down by what 10 points coming into it. What do we end up? No, he's down by 8 points going into it. Whatever the hell it was, you got to figure you can get that done, right? And he
Uh-huh.
didn't. That guy gets like a 65-yard run. What's hilarious about it is it was that one time 98-97, and then Daniel Jones throws some. I don't know what these passes are. It's a little backwards pass to him, and he gets tackled. He loses 3 yards. He went from 70 to 67. I was like, well, that should do it. 98-96. And you just knew right then you were never going to see Saquon Barkley again. Again, you're the number one pick going into Monday night. You got to be able to think you can pick up 10 points to win this shit, right?
Yeah, yeah, and
And Saquon's he's not a number one draft pick this year. I mean, talent wise, absolutely, it's not his fault, but system.
yeah,
And I mean, we all had him up there, but system, he's just not gotten it done in any capacity. He was hurt a good chunk of the year. And again, it's if you're plugging a guy in, nothing against his talent, but that's just not getting it done. This is a bad game. Let's move on, Sam.
let's move on. I know winning by 98 points is so cheap. Good job, Tay. Now let's go to my matchup. Ninja Assassin versus Savs, 79-64.
Oh my God, yeah. Well, we actually had to get cheaper here. I really don't have to talk about this, do I?
No. But I just want to say that it's stupid of me didn't start Emmanuel Sanders. I had to drop a receiver. This is poor planning on fantasy football on my part, guys. So don't be like me. Even though, anyways, plan ahead, please. That way you don't have to drop a player. But
Yeah, it happens, man. I mean, it always boggles me in my pools and the fantasy, and all of us that run leagues kind of go, guys, I've been playing football on Thursday night for like 15 years now. There's a game every Thursday.
yeah,
And you can put your starters in like I don't know a week ago. So
yeah. Well,
it's crazy. So I don't know.
we don't have to talk about our matchup, but I want to talk about what the heck is going on with LaShawn McCoy over there, huh, Chiefs fan? What are they doing over there?
He fumbled the ball inexplicably against the week before, and really I think I'm not saying Kansas City wins that game against Green Bay, but they played good enough to win that game, and it was a fumble that just is inexcusable. It's the second or third this year,
Jeez.
and LaShawn McCoy's always had that through his career. Holds the ball out there, swings around. He's always had fumbleitis, but now he's just not. He's not doing anything. I mean, so it's nice guy on the team and everything, but he's if you're hoping for much more than zero out of LaShawn McCoy the rest of the year, Sam, I mean, you're probably kidding yourself, dude. It's just you got anybody. God damn, you've had more zeros than I think is even possible in this thing, man. I guess that's how you get to 79 points. And you won. And you won. Savs, man, I think we can officially say it's just not Savs year, right? It's just he can't. It's just not working for him right now. So
and we have that. Everybody gets that.
I tell Nolan this all the time. I go, Savs is as good of a player as I have ever played against in these leagues. I mean, he's serious about it. He's good, right? And I mean, it's just we all have years where you're just like, dude, it's just not working, man. I mean, it's just everything I touch just dies on me. I've had like 5 years in a row of that. So and I still think I'm a good player, man. So who knows? So it happens, man. Play long enough, you'll have every season.
Yep. Let's go to our next matchup: the Gang Green versus High Rollers. 2-11.
Okay.
Woo.
Yeah, no, it's nice, huh? 2-11. I like that one, man. That's yeah. Hey, all right. So we can talk about some things. First of all, kudos to High Rollers. He's got a great team. I thought, I was a lot more worried about that. Really, Aaron Rodgers and Saquon Barkley and Nick Chubb. We talked about Saquon a minute ago. You're expecting. I was expecting a hell of a lot more than 32 points out of those guys. So it just had a down week. So good performance in Green Bay at -5. I mean, they just basically took their bye week a week early, right? So it was that was a pretty lame performance down there in San Diego. So it happened. So on the other side, last week I was talking about Gang Green. I was doing it with running backs. This week my running backs, did nothing. Yeah. Really, I mean, 14 points there, but I just blew it up on the passing game. So I kind of am curious if I could ever get this whole mess of a team to get healthy and come together and wants to put up the points. Possibly, just maybe, if everything rolled right. I mean, I might kind of sneak into Adrian territory there with that high score on the season. But, I hated my team last year so bad. I couldn't stand it. I despise the team. I was actually rooting against these guys week to week. I had like Zeke and Odell, and I hate this team. I like this team. This team is pretty cool, man. I mean, it's nice. So that's enough talking about me. My biggest complaint on the year is I don't think I've gotten more than one field goal in a game out of a kicker. So right now I'm pretty happy with what I got. It's an enjoyable team to watch. Russell Wilson, that was an insane game. I guess he's passing the ball this year. So Gang Green, loving life this week. It was nice. High rollers, you got a great team. I have a feeling he's going to factor into those playoffs down there. And I am not even coming close to saying we may meet again because I got a long ways just to make the playoffs. So, but it was nice for a couple weeks.
Yeah. Yeah. So congrats on your 200 points there, Rob. Yeah. Let's go to our next matchup: El Oso Verde versus Degenerate Master. El Oso usually get pretty high up their numbers, so this was his week that he could have lost. 139 points, but of course he didn't lose. But only 139 points. Come on.
Well, Michael put up his average, early August temperature this week for us, and 102 is kind of a mild day for him. We're kind of used to that. And El Oso Verde, came in just, God, I mean, I wish this is kind of a big game. These two guys are, coming in with one loss each, right? And the game kind of plays out kind of meh. It's kind of like when it was supposed to be Mahomes versus Aaron Rodgers, and it's Matt Moore versus Aaron Rodgers. The game was still good, but it wasn't, it wasn't Mahomes versus Aaron Rodgers. Yeah. So the biggest news here for El Oso is Melvin Gordon seems to kind of be breaking camp now. So he's going, and he just kind of keeps rolling the right running back out there each week. So he's doing good there with that. Javier Samuels wasn't the savior. I mean, but he was hoping. He's had some luck on the waiver wire this year, but this one didn't work for him. So, and then Tyler Lockett's Lockett is straight up legit. So, I mean, this is a game. You put up 140 and you don't have your number one draft pick out there, right?
Yeah. Yes,
and you don't have Julio Jones, and you don't have AJ Green, who you haven't had all year, right? So, I mean, you put up 140 without Mahomes and Julio Jones, even though Julio's kind of been quiet this year. I'm feeling pretty good. Michael on the other side, we were going back and forth last week. He knows he's blessed this season. I think there's something about a horseshoe and a rectum or something. I get the text confused after a while. But he's been riding that one pretty good. So he ran into it this week. So.
Yeah, and then I think Minshew is done. I think what's his name's back, right? Folk is back.
Yeah, they're putting Foles back out there next week, and it's Gardner Minshew was kind of fun this year, though, right?
It was fun to watch.
You got to go with it. I mean, he knew it was kind of coming to an end. He just, he's got some skills out there, but I always say this, dude. In the NFL, they're paying Nick Foles how much money, and he's going to play. So there you go.
Yep. So, all right. Congrats, El Oso, again. He's doing pretty
well. Leonard Fournette did not score again this week. I find this to be the most bizarre thing. This guy just does not find the end zone at all. I mean, freaking Adrian Peterson finds the end zone like at a clip of like 5 times more often than Leonard Fournette does. It's
all right. Let's go to our next matchup: Kells versus Straight LA. Straight LA, 2 in a row again. 191 to 120. So it was pretty good.
That's pretty good game.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, we get the Cousins going at it. It's always a fun game each year, man. And it's I'm looking for it. I'm scrolling, guys. I'm scrolling here. Bear with me here.
Yeah.
It's coming up on my screen. Straight LA. Yeah, Straight LA. Yeah, I was definitely ready for this game. I'm sorry. I had it up on the big screen over here. It's my bad, So Yeah, no, 191 straight. Dude, I mean, come on. Straight LA's got a good team. I mean, he
He
puts up
does.
like 150 and above every week. This isn't anything new. We just got to,
It's just
I mean, you can only talk about his bad luck for so long, and then you kind of go, and, you just go, well, you're 3-6. And it's, but you're like the best 3-6 team in fantasy football ever. So,
could you imagine if he would have played you this week? If Straight LA would have played you this week and he lost with 191. Like, oh my God.
Man, that would he could have lost. There's 3 teams he could have lost to. That would have been me. Well, could he have lost to Cody? We'll get into that game in a minute, but he could have lost to me, and I know he could have lost to Scott. So it's it's he finally ended up on the right side. It's kind of weird how this week shook out. We had like 6 teams that were all under 100, all in a row there on the scoreboard, and they all played each other. So it's just easy. I mean, you couldn't plan this shit. So I mean, just another huge day. Matt Stafford's Matt Stafford's having a great year, right?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Mike Evans, he's killing it. Derrick Henry on the other side, Kells, puts up 120. It was pretty good. It kind of propped up a little bit there at the quarterback. The Houston Texans coming in at 31 points. It was that's big time, man. That's a good game for them. So good for Straight LA. I know he's happy about winning that one. So I'm sure they got a little extra juice on the side, maybe on that. I don't know. So there you go.
Yeah. So congrats on Straight LA. Like we talked about it enough. It's just he just has a string of bad luck with his matchups. He scores a lot. He does. It's just the other team scores more. So
hold on, one more thing on this game too. By the way, this is finally, how good did it feel to watch the New England Patriots not only get beat, but then when you look at the damn fantasy score this week, you see a -5. You're like, oh, thank you. It's like, dude, I mean, sitting there talking about Christian McCaffrey MVP, but I mean, it's pretty hard pressed not to make the New England Patriots the MVP, at least for the first half. It was out of hand, and I mean. But they finally played a team that was good, and they look. I mean, I've watched them all year. They look they're pretty good at the cornerback position. I mean, they're a good team. Don't get me wrong, but they're kind of slow, man.
Yeah.
Just kind of plodding, and they just had not played anybody. And then they go and they play somebody, and they basically got whooped. So it was. I'm sure everybody's gonna say, well, Bill Belichick wasn't showing anybody anything, and it was vanilla. Yeah, bullshit. They were going for the undefeated season, and all you had to do was look at Tom Brady over the sideline late in the game and just see how just completely frustrated he was with the way that game had gone.
Yeah.
So I know everybody cried for Handsome Tom. He's not going to get the perfect season this year, I was praying every night, man, kneeling by my bedside, holding my Tom Brady poster near my heart. So anyway, next.
Let's go talk about Autumn win versus Wolfpack. Well, actually, we don't have to. 56-88. Wolfpack won. So Lamar Jackson.
It keeps it keeps Wolfpack somewhat relevant in the wild card hunt, right?
Uh-huh.
And I mean, Autumn Wynn picked a bad week to have a bad week. I mean, he really did. And then you just look at his bench and it's like, oh, it's kind of funny. He obviously he forgot to move on to do the Deshaun Watson. Everybody saw that, and I don't think he overthought himself. But he picks up Derek Carr, and it turns out to be an exact wash there, 23-23. The problem is, why didn't he think Kenny Drake, 3 days after getting traded to the mighty Arizona Cardinals, the grinded, 4 yards in a cloud of dust Cardinals there, that Kenny Drake wasn't going to go in and put up 31 points against the number 1 defense in football? I mean, you making decisions like this, you're not going to win, dude. That's just how it goes. I mean, it was obvious. It's telegraphed. I mean, first of all, when they signed Kenyon Drake, I was like, why are the Cardinals getting Kenyon Drake? It made no sense, right? When they traded him, it was just, I'm like, why? It was bizarre, man. This game was a dog. We talked about Kenyon Drake and the Arizona Cardinals, right? So it's all the best players. Devontae Parker, too, man. He left him on the bench. What were you thinking? I mean, the Miami Dolphins. Come on, man. Wolfpack won. There we go. Next,
let's go to our last matchup. The Hart Foundation versus Sago. 189-206. Damn.
Man, we thought this. So it turns out that Hart Foundation would not have beaten straight LA. So straight LA, only 2 teams would have beat them. It's just by the luck of the draw. I didn't play him this week. Yeah, I was going back and forth with these guys on Monday night just because we thought there for a minute it looked like Amari Cooper was not going to do anything the rest of the game, right?
Yeah.
You just didn't hear him at all, and we kind of was sitting at 189 each. So Cody had the tiebreaker twice over with both the Stafford and I think it was a McCaffrey run too. But Stafford had the long play there, so we were just kind of breaking it down. Sego's got a long road and climb to get back into relevancy in general. If he lost that game, he's dust. Cody, not quite so much, but that was a killer there. He needed to pull that one out to stay at 4 and stay within 2 of the wild card and stay up there with Todd, hoping I slip a little bit or Don or, Nolan, I guess. Nolan's not going to slip. But, this is a crucial game and you run into it. Right now, that 189 is that's the bad beat on the year, right?
I think so too. That's what I was going to say. I think so.
I do believe. I think we were running at 179. We'll get all this stuff efficient, but I'm quite certain 189's up there. So, and then I got to figure out the large margin award and everything. This game, it was Amari Cooper, man. I mean, this is a weird game by him. So, Sego, he's just so weak at running back, but he had a nice week out of those guys this week with Hyde and Lindsey. You really can't expect that on a week-to-week basis, but for this week, it was pretty good. So, and plus, Russell Wilson, 62, it's monstrous. But all the way around, did a real nice game there. And the Hart Foundation had a good game too. There's McCaffrey again, there's Mike Evans. He loaded up. He 189. So yeah, that's a week 9. That's a barn burner right there. A big deal, So, good for Sega. Tough luck for Hart Foundation. We'll keep playing the games.
Yeah, and Tyreek Hill. Did you see him not catching the ball, but running downfield to block for his receiver? He outran everybody.
I watch Tyreek Hill every week. I'm telling you, Tyreek's going to go off for 80 points here one of these weeks. It's going to be insane, dude. He's ready to burst. There's so many times when you look at the games afterwards, he's open out there and more doing a Yeoman's job. He's just not seeing them. Hill just looks like he just looks like he's ready to explode, and Mahomes won't miss him, when he gets his legs back under him. So, literally. So
the way he was running, to block for his receiver who caught a deep pass, I forget. He was just messing around. He was just showing off. He was
It was a running back, Damian Williams, doing a 91-yard run, and apparently Nolan kind of gave me the whole story on this. We'll finish with this, that apparently Damian Williams is always joking that he's the fastest player on the team. And, and I think they're just kidding around, basically. But then again, you never know with these guys. So Tyreek Hill wanted to make sure that not only did he run all the way down the field and put a good block on, too. That's a part of his game that, I'm not going to say he's the greatest blocking wide receiver of all time, but he's not nearly, he's not that bad at that. He does do it. And, but no, he gets out there, he gets the job done, and then he just took off and won the foot race. And there's something about tossing the ball, if he doesn't keep going, he needs to hand in the ball so he can run it in, So, which I was all for, by the way. I'll take the 3-yard, the 10 points at the end of the play, So,
no, but that's just crazy how fast. That just shows you how fast he is. Just crazy.
Yeah, and I'm thinking the only person, if this was for real, that ever had a debate on who was faster between Damian Williams and Tyreek Hill was Damian Williams and Damian Williams' immediate relatives. So it's I don't think there's much to it after that. It's a fun play, though, right?
Yeah. All right, folks. Thanks for tuning into our podcast. Don't forget to put in your lineups and pay the commish. And
pay the league. You're not paying the commission.
Oh, pay the league.
I make no money off this. Yes. Pay the league.
Yes, pay the league, folks. Come on now. And waivers tomorrow afternoon. So good luck, everybody. Oh, Alabama versus LSU this weekend. Watch.
Yeah, that excites Nolan. I can tell you that much.
All right.
Thanks,
all right. Thank you, everybody.
Night.